Hey everyone, it's me, Alex. And today, what's this? Oh, I got a PS5! Finally! After a year and a half of trying to find a legitimate one for 500, I could not. Therefore, I had to do what my friend Frankie did, that's been on this channel before, and had to buy a scalped version. Now let's go with a little story time as to what happened in this entire endeavor. The first PS5 I bought was about $690. I thought, that's a pretty good price. The scalpers are getting desperate, so I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot. It turns out that the person that put these listings up was not the actual account holder. Someone hacked into his account and put in some fake PS5 listings. He was telling me that he doesn't even sell that kind of stuff. So he refunded me as fast as possible. Then the next day, Frankie and I were searching through some people to find the legitimate PS5, and we found one for around $800, $850, which is about what he paid. It's ridiculous for the amount of, how much you have to pay for the system. But I think in the long run for me, it'll be it'll be worth it, I should say, not a lot worth it. Because this thing, for one, it's so huge that this down there where it's standing, I have a secondary shelf above it. It's the size of my pinky how close it is to touching it. So yeah, it's a pretty fucking big console. It puts the PS4 to shame. It's absolutely insane. I love the white coloring scheme on this thing, and I don't like that there's only one USB port on the front, but whatever, what are you gonna do? The Xbox One had that issue, so. And it has another plug on the front. I think that might be for VR, but I'm not positive. So we have an eject button and a, power button on the front, on the bottom, which I wish they would kind of make it a little bit more obvious, which was the power and eject button. Now, one problem that I have with putting discs in is that you would think the disc, part where it reads, would go towards the inside of the console, but the disc reader is reversed, so you have to put it in with the disc data facing away from the console. It's a little awkward, but I'm okay with that. It's not a big deal. And I also was able to, my friend sent me a cooling fan for the PS5, so that's great, because apparently if you play it for too long, it will show a message saying, hey, this system is a little too hot, so you need to turn it down for a little bit. Kind of like this room, because the PS5 gives off a lot of damn heat, and my room is hotter than hell right now. I'm sweating to death. So yes, that's one thing that I don't like, is that it puts off a lot of heat. But it's very quiet. Very quiet. Now, some of the things that this thing can do impress the hell out of me. Of course, the graphical fidelity for games is absolutely through the roof, especially PS4 games. They look really damn well on this. And of course, PS5 games. We have Elden Ring. It's not PS5 exclusive, but it looks beautiful. Spider-Man Miles Morales, beautiful. Even Destiny 2, something I play every now and then, that looks beautiful on PS5. So that's pretty nice. It can play games very, the frame rate never dips, high quality textures and just resolution and stuff like that. Now, the biggest thing that I love about this is that games take little to no time to load whatsoever. PS4 games are a little different, but PS5 games usually takes about 2 to 3 seconds to load in. Like Elden Ring takes about 2 to 3 seconds to load from the console home menu to the game itself. And loading every time you die takes about the same amount of time. So yes, loading faster. Thank fuck, we finally are there. The days of loading games is pretty much behind us now. And the user interface of the system, I like it a lot. I kind of wish there were themes, but I don't mind that every game has its own special little background picture, so that's okay. But the accessing the PlayStation Store and all that is so seamless. You hit the button and you're already in it. It just pops down and then you can go search everything. So that's cool. And games download ridiculously fast on this system. Sure, I'm on Ethernet, but way faster than PS4 downloads by a long shot. So, SSD probably is what causes that to be so much faster. So that's pretty nice, I'd say. Very, very nice. What else can this system do? Of course, you can go into rest mode, but the problem I have with the system, the only problem, is that you cannot suspend games and play another game. Like the Xbox Series X and S, you can play a game and suspend it, go play another game, suspend that one. And you can suspend a decent amount of games. My friend said he had about 8 suspended, and that's pretty fucking cool. And the PS5 is about as powerful, if not maybe just a little bit more powerful. Not sure. But actually, I don't know. I think the Xbox Series X is a little stronger. But regardless, I'm sure Sony could do something to make games suspend, because it makes no sense. Like, I want to play Elden Ring for a little bit, and then I want to go play Ratchet and Clank PS4 or something. I need to get the new one, but this is just what I'm playing right now, for example. I can't just do that. It won't even give you a warning if you want to close the game. It just closes the other game immediately. So that's annoying. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah, the main thing for this, the controller. Now, I absolutely love this controller. It is my favorite PlayStation controller so far. The base buttons, A, B, X, circle, square, triangle, are not how they used to be, where they're just buttons that stick up. It's like the Xbox, where they're rounded off, so it's a lot smoother. I like that. The trigger buttons are actually a lot bigger, pretty meaty, work perfectly fine. Then you have your trigger buttons. Now, normally they just do this, but in some games you actually have to push back a little harder on it it's a little resistance, so that's cool. Unfortunately, I feel like the technology with the triggers are going to break pretty fast because it's still new tech and people have had that issue, so that's unfortunate, but it's so fucking cool. And then we also have our touchpad. It's a little bit bigger than the PS5s or PS4s, but that's not a bad thing, and it works pretty well. And then we have our start and share buttons. Now, the start button, in my opinion, is a lot better on here because it's not sunk into the controller. And every time I push it, it doesn't feel like I'm pushing it. But on here, it definitely feels it. Now, we have the D-pad. Now, the D-pad, this is the best PlayStation D-pad yet. I mean, it feels like the PS4s, except it's not sunk into the controller. It sticks up a little bit, so you can, like, rotate it, like, all around without having to kind of, like, bend, I don't know, just... Your thumb won't be uncomfortable when you're doing it, is what I'm trying to say. And then we have our thumbsticks. Now, I know about the drift, which is unfortunate, but these sticks are so smooth, and when you rotate them against the plastic, it does not grind. Like, you know how controllers, after a little while, like, they're buttery smooth at first, but the plastic grinds on itself, and then it just becomes not as smooth? Yeah. No problem with this whatsoever. I did have an issue with another PS5 controller I did get, sitting over there, where it was the one that came with the system, and the sticks were like really sticky and like rubbed on the plastic, and it's just very squeaky and rusty. I don't know. It must have been stored in like a really bad place where moisture got to the controllers. So keep these in pretty cool places, but not like in a basement or just anywhere that can gather dust, because that could be part of the problem too. So the controller itself, absolutely fantastic, and it uses USB-C. Thank fuck, because I'm tired of using the micro USB plugs for my PS4 controllers, because you know the Xbox One X has the series. Well, even the Xbox One X, when they made the new controllers for the series, that had the Type-C, and the Switch has the Type-C. So PS4 not having it was bugging me. And one thing that's a little bizarre is when you turn the PS5 on, you just obviously push the PlayStation button, but when you want to turn it off, you can't just do it on PS4 where you hold the button down and then the off button will appear. You just push it once, go down all the way to the right, and it'll be like, hey, here's the power switch, or the power options, which is pretty fast. So I was like, okay. And this also has a built-in microphone. And I haven't tested the microphone out itself to see if it actually has any good audio quality. I'm sure it does. And it has a mute button on there too. So you can mute the game, or not the game, you can mute the voice on your end, and you could possibly mute the gameplay itself. I don't know why you do that, but you can. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about the controller. Fantastic, like absolutely fantastic. Recommend it in terms of like PC gaming or quality. Just, it's great. Better than the Xbox Series controller, in my opinion. It just has a little bit more to it than the Series controller. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say. I mean, the games I got, Elden Ring, Spider-Man, I'm going to be getting another game or two soon from Frankie, so that'll be great. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. I'm really excited I got a PS5. Not proud of the price I had to pay for it, but now that I have it, it's set. Because it's going to be really hard to find PS5s in the future because the, semiconductor shortage. So that's great, and chip shortage. So yay! Anyway, my name is Alex, and I'll be seeing you next time. Farewell.